Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Moto. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we decide the final four here for all three series, Trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series. But first up we have the Trucks here at Phoenix Raceway, where we had driver Casey Mears in the truck. Yes, a name you probably haven't heard in quite some time. Mears used to drive the 13 car back in the Cup Series for quite a long time actually, but he's no longer in the Cup Series. He's done a few Xfinity races here and there, but here he is today in our truck as we try to make the final four here in the Truck Series for the first time as a team owner of myself here in the Truck Series. Mears, he started about mid-pack, so I was a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie, going into this race, seeing where he qualified, and on this first and opening lap he would make some three wide moves, get a little bit aggressive, and move his way forwards now as he went down into turns 3. But Mears, throughout the rest of this race, he had struggled now as he really would not make very much progress at all. So we came straight through to the final lap, and he had just gotten absolutely nowhere in this race as he went down through turns 3 and out of turns 4, sliding up in front of the 0-2, trying to get every point he could now as Mears would come across the line to hang on over the 0-2 truck there for P15. And would it be enough though to make it into the final four was the big question at this point. I was hoping that with the great season we've had, it would be enough, and we're about to find out if it was enough, and yes it was. We make it by 4 points here to the final four, so now we will have a chance to win a Truck Series championship in the next episode. But now we come through to the Xfinity Series here in Phoenix, where we had subscriber Malachi Weaver in the car. Now, as Phoenix is one of the tougher tracks on us in the Xfinity Series, we've never really had much success here. I always say, like, along with Phoenix, we have tracks like Iowa where we always struggle at, and unfortunately, we had to start actually at the back of the field. And obviously, if you guys have been watching, you know we're not in the playoffs anymore here in the Xfinity Series, as we missed, or we got eliminated by 1 point a little whiles ago now, as Malachi headed down this back straightaway, trying to make up as much time as he could here, but obviously being set back here, starting at the back of the field. We knew we weren't going to get the greatest finish no matter what here in Phoenix as he came through out of turns 4, trying to make a pass there on the 15 of BJ McLeod as he would cut down on that apron. Now as he came through a little bit later, he was moving his way forwards throughout the field. He'd gotten up towards the inside the top 25. Now he's making a 3 wide up the inside of the 0-1 and then the 0-8 of Gray Golding there as he went down the back stretch into turns 3. So he was definitely not being afraid to be aggressive here today in Phoenix Raceway. Now as we came through to the final lap though here in Phoenix, still right behind Gray Golding there as he was making some more 3 wide battles now as he went down the back straightaway for the final time here in Phoenix Raceway. We had a not very good result in the Truck Series, and it's going to carry over here into the Xfinity Series now as Malachi Weaver started in the back. He comes through to cross the line to finish P20 here in Phoenix for the Xfinity Series. Like I said, obviously we're not in the playoffs anymore in Xfinity, so we don't have to worry about the final four for us, but I will be showing the final four for the Xfinity Series at the end of this episode. Now, as actually you can kind of see it right there, now as we would come through into the Cup Series qualifying for myself here, we are locked into the final four for the Cup Series for our final season here in the NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode, and as well, Denny Hamlin is also locked in after a win last episode at Texas Motor Speedway, and right now the other two drivers in are Brad Keselowski and Kurt Busch, so we're going to have to watch out for them. Joey Logano though, Chase Elliott, those two drivers are right on the outside looking in. There you definitely could point their way in now as we come through to cross the line here in qualifying with a 26.022. We beat our goal barely and go P9 here for Phoenix, so a very solid qualifying effort, setting us up for the elimination race with Kevin Harvick on pole as we're ready to decide the final four.
We're live at ISM Raceway. We've reached the penultimate event of this thrilling season. After today, the Championship 4 will be set. Who will be heading to Homestead with a shot at a championship? It's time to find out.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the elimination race, like I said, at Phoenix Raceway. 4 drivers will remain in the playoffs in a fight to win the championship at the end of this episode. William Byron starting at the back after failing pre-race inspection, along with Chris Buescher, who gave up their qualifying position for a brand new set of tires. Now as we are ready to go green from the 9th starting position here. Now as myself and Denny Hamlin, we have nothing to worry about. Now as the race is is underway here at Phoenix now. The second to last race of our NASCAR Heat 4 career mode is officially underway now. As we head down into turns 1, right off the bat, you see Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch right behind me. Those two drivers are big drivers to watch in this race, as well as Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. Alex Bowman, he's in the round of 8 as well, but he definitely has some work to do if he wants to get himself into the Final 4. And Eric Jones as well is in the round of 8, and he also has some work to do if he wants to make it into the Final 4 as well. But he starts off right now in front. Denny Hamlin started up front along with Kevin Harvick and whatnot, Brad Keselowski, but it's Eric Jones who would get out early on to the lead, and he was trying to drive away as quickly as possible. Now there was a little bit of contact made there with 7-time champion of Jimmy Johnson. Now as we go down into turns 3, trying to make that pass on 7-time, and sure enough, we move up into P8 early on here. Now as we would close in towards the back of Denny Hamlin after making a pass on Clint Boyer now on lap 4. So we climbed up into P7 as Jones was still up front over second place of Keselowski at this point. Then Chase Elliott would get up to my back bumper now as we came through on lap 8. Now as there's actually a spinner there behind us. It's the 34 of Michael McDowell down the front straightaway. He's going to collect Stenhouse. The 40 of McMurray, the 00, the 62, all involved as our first caution is going to come out early on here in the first stage. Now as we would not come to the pit lane here, we would stay out and get ready to go green here from P6 now, as we are now underway for the restart. At this point, only 8 laps to go here in stage 1. And I see behind me we have Kurt Busch. And obviously, we want to do everything we can to help our Chip Ganassi Racing teammate make it into the Final 4 here at Homestead, Miami. Now, as we come through turns 1 and another turn 2, we're slipping and sliding, and we hit the outside wall now. And thankfully, the one car, our teammate, barely avoids us now, as he could have slammed into the back of me and gotten a bunch of damage. But unfortunately, I just lost the back end of the car, and I touched the 9 car just a little bit, and then I hit the wall, and it was not very good. But fortunately, no caution came out. We didn't do as much damage as I had initially thought we had done. The car was actually still pretty competitive, so I wasn't really concerned now as we were battling with Matt DiBenedetto and Jimmy Johnson. DiBenedetto would actually get past Jimmy Johnson now, as I would be struggling to pass the 48 now, as we would make it 3 wide with him and Logano there with 5 to go on the stage, and we finally passed Johnson, but then we had to worry about getting the 22 behind us now as we went down into turns 1. Logano, he's not going to give up anything easily right now, as he is trying to make it into the Final 4 now as we come through out of turns 2, going a little bit wide. Bowman as well in the same situation. He needs a very good run here, and right now he's getting 0 points in the stage, so he's in a terrible position now as we came through with 4 to go in the stage. We had gotten to the back of Austin Dillon, who had gotten passed by Joey Logano. We passed him to move up now into P10. Eric Jones, though, would be leading at the start of the final lap here in stage 1 as I went down into turns 1 and 2. Logano right in front of myself. Obviously, I want to keep Logano from getting the stage points so we can help our teammate Kurt Busch in the long run now as we exit turns 2, heading down this backstretch for the final time in stage 1. We're going to send it up the inside of the Penske driver of Joey Logano now as we come through turns 3, trying to keep it clean with them, though. Now as we exit turns 4, heading to the line, Jones wins stage 1. Logano hangs on to the 9th position. So we get P10 here in stage 1. Kurt Busch up there in 4th. Chase Elliott up in 3rd. So Elliott with a very strong start to stage 1, putting himself in a very good position to potentially still make it into the Final 4 now, as we would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. I would tighten up the car a little bit as well as make some repairs, and due to those repairs there that we had, we lost 3 positions on the pit lane. But now we would be ready to go back green here from P13 for the start of the second stage here in Phoenix Raceway. Now 15 laps remain here in stage 2. The 34 of Michael McDowell actually stayed out under the pit stops now as he crashed earlier in that first stage, and he had already lost the lead now as Denny Hamlin would drive right on by him, and he was gone. And Eric Jones, unfortunately, after winning stage 1, gets held up behind the 34, which is good for our teammate Kurt Busch now, as I would go up the inside of all of them and make some passes now as we get to the inside of Kyle Busch as well as we come through down this front stretch. So we were just moving our way forwards there, taking advantage of the 34 holding up a bunch of drivers now as we would move up inside the top 5 as I went down into turns 1. Jones would make it 4 wide behind us with McDowell, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott as we head down this back straightaway on the second lap of the second stage. But now as we came through on lap 5 of the second stage, we had actually closed in on the cars up in front of us. Now as the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., though, blows a tire going into turns 3, and then he hits me after the caution comes out now. And I was fully expecting that glitch where your car was really slow on the restart after a car hits you to happen, and surprisingly, it did not happen. I got very lucky. I immediately pulled out of the way thinking it was going to happen, but like I said, did not happen, so we were able to get right back into the action here as I went down into turns 1. Matt DiBenedetto there in P3 trying to put the pressure on Denny Hamlin. Behind myself, we got Kurt Busch. Now, as like I said, we're doing everything we can to get my teammate of Kurt Busch here in the final 4 now as we go down this backstretch into turns 3. Harvick now up to that top lane. Eric Jones on the bottom there in that 5th position, as well as obviously you see Matt DiBenedetto here on my inside with just 7 laps to go. DiBenedetto here having an incredible race so far in Phoenix now, as he's definitely showing a lot of speed as we go through now out of turns 2 with just 2 to go in the stage. We had gotten clear of Matt DiBenedetto now, and we were trying to put the pressure on Kevin Harvick, but it's really myself and Denny Hamlin leading the playoff field here, at least in Phoenix, and coincidentally or ironically, both of us are the 2 drivers that have won our way in to that final 4 now, with my win in Martinsville and Hamlin's win in the last episode in Texas, which was like his 9th win of the season, I think now, as he's trying to make it like 10 wins now on the season. If he could do that here today in Phoenix, what a season it has been for Denny Hamlin. He has been so dominant. 10 wins almost if he can pull it off today. 9 so far coming into this race now as we come through out of turn 4. Hamlin will win stage 2. I cross the line just behind Harvick to finish in P3. Obviously, we have nothing to lose here today, so we're going to be doing everything we can to potentially get a victory. Now, as Kurt Busch was the last car to get a stage point, not what you wanted to see. Chase Elliott gets more points than him. Jones, Keselowski, and Logano all got more points than him. So it's going to come down to kind of, I think, Keselowski and Logano, Kurt Busch, and Chase Elliott now, as Jones still likely might have to win this race to gain a bunch of points. He needs a bunch of points now, as you would gain 1 spot though going into stage 3 as the green flag would be back up. The final stage of the round of 8 is underway. We are now 39 laps away from deciding the final 4 here in Phoenix Raceways. We dive down into turns 1. Hamlin leads the way, and then we got Matt DiBenedetto on my inside. Kevin Harvick, he had a terrible pit stop. He is falling quite a ways down the order now, as we would be able to get clear of DiBenedetto for a brief moment down the backstretch, but he gets back up my inside as we go down into turns 3. Keselowski just behind me there as he kind of peeked into the picture there for a moment now as we exit turn 4, still side by side with the 95 of Matt DiBenedetto as we complete this first lap of the 3rd and final stage now, as there you see William Byron up in the mix. William Byron has gone the whole NASCAR Heat 4 career mode without a victory, and now he has this episode right here and the next one at Homestead, Miami to try and get that first victory of his career now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. I still think William Byron's AI was a little bit less competitive than it should have been in this game, and I hope to see that improved into NASCAR Heat 5 now, as I might have just called this game NASCAR Heat 5 twice, I'm not sure, but now as we go down into turns 3, we right behind us actually, the 9 of Chase Elliott has just gone crashing now, a playoff contender. His final 4 hopes have just been completely diminished here at Phoenix Raceway, as Chase Elliott, I can confirm, would be out of this race. This would be a DNF for Chase Elliott now, as that completely came out of nowhere going down into turns 3. Elliott, who's had a strong season, and it just comes down to a complete burning halt now as he is done in Phoenix. A great opportunity as well, obviously, for a driver like Kurt Busch, my teammate, who's in a great position now, not having to worry about Elliott pointing his way in, but he still has Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, maybe even Eric Jones now. Like I said, Eric Jones is going to probably, though, have to win this race, and he's in position to challenge for the victory. He's right behind myself as we go down into turn 3 as he tries to take over that 3rd position away from Matt DiBenedetto, which he does exactly so as we come out of turn 4. Then on lap 55 now, Jones starts to put the pressure on myself as he gets to my inside as we came through out of turn 4. I hit Hamlin in the back bumper now, and we would be in a side-by-side battle with Eric Jones all the way through now onto lap 59 as we came through out of turn 4. I'm doing everything I can to hold him behind to make sure our teammate of Kurt Busch can be in a good position here within the final now 19 laps here in Phoenix Raceway. Kyle Busch has gotten up into the mix as well. Now, once again, though, behind us, we have another crash. It's the 40 of Jamie McMurray. Looks like he blew a tire going down the front straightaway, and that would once again bring out the caution late here in Phoenix. Things have started to amp up now in this final stage. I decided we were going to come into the pit lane for 4 tires. I originally was going to do 2, and then I changed it to 4, and I made the wrong call. We lose 13 positions, and now we drop down to P15. So a bit of a mistake on my part, but obviously we're locked into the next next round of the Final Four, so it does not matter. So I had no concern in the world. Obviously, going into Homestead, I'm definitely a little bit concerned about that, and hopefully we don't make those pit mistakes now, as we can just still focus all the way on Miami, and hopefully, like I said, we don't make those silly mistakes now, as we're already up to P11 though here on the restart now. And then we came through on lap 65. We got up inside the top 10 of the inside now of Matt DiBenedetto as we come through to cross the line. DiBenedetto has run top 5 all race pretty much, and now here he is starting to drop down the order as we go down into turns 1 on lap 66. We go for a slide there into the corner, but thankfully we hang on to it. Usually when that happens, I completely lose control, but this time we would hang on to the car. Now as we came through, we would have to rally our way back, of course, as Denny Hamlin was still leading the way as we came through turns 1 and turns 2. DiBenedetto just in front of myself now, and once again, as I would be able to pass Clint Boyer on the outside there for P9, then slice up the inside of DiBenedetto and pass him as well for P8. So we were once again back in some good shape here, and there you see our teammate Kurt Busch. At this point, I decide to make a little bit of a different race strategy. I decided we're just going to stay behind my teammate Kurt Busch and get him every point he can, as he would pass Keselowski, and then I would follow through and get ahead of Keselowski and just try to keep the 2 car behind me to give the 1 car as many points as possible now as we head down this straightaway with just 10 laps to go in Phoenix, as Hamlin still leads the way. Kurt would obviously now get past Eric Jones, and then I would come through as well to make a pass on the 20, and now it was looking great for our teammate Kurt Busch. Really nothing for him to worry about as long as I was ahead of the 20 car as well as the 2. Now as we go down the back straightaway here with just a handful of laps to go in the race at this point. Hamlin still leads, as everybody here in the top 6 or 7 or even 8 are all together now, as Hamlin apparently didn't really have the fastest car in the field, but everyone was at least still having a tough time getting around him now as we went down into turns 1 with just 5 to go here in Phoenix. Now is Kurt Busch right in front of myself, looking to maybe put the pressure on Joey Logano, but then Harvick actually started to fade down the order. Kurt Busch would pass him and move up into P4. Then, coming to now the white flag here in Phoenix, Kurt Busch would pass Joey Logano, move up into P3 as he was in a great position as we start the final lap now. The next flag ends the race, and we just hope that next flag isn't because of Kurt Busch or something crashing now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2 for the final time here in Phoenix. Harvick just in front of myself, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski behind me. They know that they need all the points they can get. Keselowski might be that final spot right now in the Final Four as we send it up the inside of Harvick through turn 3. We clear him, and for the 10th time this season, Denny Hamlin wins in Phoenix as we come through to cross the line to finish in P5. Kurt Busch P4. Keselowski rounds out the top 10, and unfortunately for Chase Elliott, he DNF'd. We know he will not make it into the Final Four. Now, as you're about to see, there it is. Denny Hamlin, myself, Kurt Busch, and Brad Keselowski are the final 4 here going into Homestead, Miami. I think Denny Hamlin, we know, is the clear favorite. Then it's really just hopefully us winning it.
Homestead Championship 4, you got this.
Thank you for the encouragement. Alex Bowman, fresh off of being eliminated from the playoffs, he's encouraging us to go win the championship, and hopefully we can do so. That is obviously the main goal, but like I said, we've been in the Final Four before, and we came up short, and I'm hoping so bad that we don't come up short again. Now, as always, though, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do, and in the next one, we are going to have the final episode ever of the NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode at Homestead, Miami. It's been a wild ride, and we've had so many wins. I'll be going over the stats, hopefully, in the next episode as well, just with our wins and stuff. And like I said, I thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one in Miami. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.